How's it going, everyone? Kapinarmic here, and I have just come from the theater after seeing the Emoji movie, and I just figured I'd give some quick and dirty thoughts about it really quick. That was a motorcycle, sorry if you heard that. Just in case you don't know the plot already, the movie's entire premise, it takes place inside of a smartphone, specifically the texting application, and all these particular emojis are supposed to act, a certain way all the time. Like, if you're a smiley face emoji, you're always supposed to be happy, and all that stuff. And it revolves around this one emoji named Gene, and he's supposed to be a meh emoji, but the problem is he has more than one emotion, and basically screws everything up and puts everyone inside the phone in danger of basically being reset or wiped out by the owner. So he goes on this personal quest to get reprogrammed, and he runs into this high five emoji who's like, I've heard of people talking about this hacker that could reprogram stuff, and maybe they could reprogram you to, be, the meh that you want to be. And the hacker turns out to be Jailbreak, the girl with the blue hair you see in, all the promo material and all that. And all three of them go on this adventure to the cloud, where, Gene can get reprogrammed, and a bunch of other little stuff that the other two characters have personal goals for. Overall, I was not too fond of this movie, actually. And I don't think that really comes as a surprise to anyone, because I remember when this thing was first announced back in, 2014? And since the very beginning, people were like, oh no, this is a bad idea. This is not gonna go over well. And then, the teaser trailer got released, and it didn't really seem to change many people's minds. It only seemed to really solidify what many people thought. But I'm a person who, I like to say that, premise doesn't automatically make a movie good or bad, It all depends on how it's executed, and, maybe somehow the Emoji movie can surprise me and actually execute its plot pretty well. Unfortunately, it doesn't really. And, I've seen a few movies this year, mostly animated, but some that aren't. I've seen, Lego Batman, Boss Baby, Captain Underpants, Cars 3, Wish Upon, which is live action, but still. And out of all these movies that I've seen this year, I honestly think that this one has been the least enjoyable experience of the year. I even enjoyed Wish Upon more than this, and that was a terrible movie. It was laughably terrible on how bad it was. It was supposed to be a horror movie, but it feels like, if Disney Channel wanted to make a horror movie. So, it was bad, but you could at least laugh and make fun of how bad it was. The thing about the Emoji movie is, it's not so bad that you can really, laugh at it, sit down with some friends and, just rag on it. It's just really boring. It doesn't really do anything to make you go like, whoa, that was really bad. It's just sort of there. And the sad thing about it is that there are some parts, more so in the earlier parts of the movie than in the ending, where I saw little bits of potential in there. There are some tiny bits of potential that I saw where I'm watching it, and I was like, that could have been really good if you just dug a little bit deeper and didn't go for like the obvious, punchline or the obvious solution to that particular problem. While I really don't want to compare it to this, but it's no secret to anybody that this movie basically exists because of the success of stuff like the Lego movie. It's a secret to nobody. And what I feel that movies like the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie did really well, that I think the Emoji movie really misses out on, is its sense of satire. It feels like the movie doesn't really realize that it's not supposed to take itself super seriously. It's called the Emoji movie, for crying out loud. You can't really expect people to take it seriously at face value anyway. Yet for some reason it plays itself really straight. Like, it feels like one of those early 2000s movies or 90s movies back when everybody was trying to be Disney and everybody was trying to like decipher the Disney formula. It feels like one of those cookie cutter animated films that follows these safe steps to a solution. And it's just really boring to sit through because it's like, okay, it's time for this part of the movie to happen. Now it's time for this part of the movie to happen. You know, it's time for the emotional part and it's time for the funny part. It's just pieces put together to make a thing. It doesn't really feel like that much of an experience, and that could have still been alright if it, like I said before, if it just didn't play itself so seriously. Like, with a movie like this, you know, whether you like the premise or not, whether you think it's cringy or not to make a movie about a smartphone, you have a lot of source material at your fingertips. There are a whole bunch of concepts and generalizations that come with, you know, young people using modern technology. And there's a lot of ways that you can make fun of said concepts, but it doesn't really do any of that. Bringing into example again, the Lego Batman movie is in a similar situation than the Emoji movie. You know, you have this movie that has a ton of reference material to go off of. And the thing about Lego Batman is it makes fun of Batman a lot. It makes fun of all these previous serious moments that Batman has gone through from, you know, past films over the years. And you have the Emoji movie that has, you know, all these stigmas that come with using technology, all these different apps and all these different, you know, troubles that everyone has when using technology. And it doesn't take advantage of any of that. It's basically like, hey, we're in Candy Crush and, you know, here's a Candy Crush joke, I guess. You know, and it's like, hey, we're in YouTube and there's a cute cat video. The end. It's just, it just does the bare minimum when it comes to referential stuff, using the material it has to formulate a joke. It doesn't make fun of anything. It doesn't insult anything. Heck, the Lego movie even I really shouldn't be comparing it this much, but, you know, even the Lego movie freaking made fun of its own brand at certain points. But the Emoji movie is basically, okay, here's what it's like. It's about this character that is different from everyone else, and he wants to fit in, and he goes on this journey to be normal, and, you know, he figures out, hey, I'm good just the way I am, but there's emojis in it. And that's it. That's the entire movie. It's your standard, let's try to be Disney conflict with emojis. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's very little that's unique to this film that couldn't be replaced by something else. Like, if you ripped off the whole, you know, smartphone setting, the whole emoji setting, all of that, and like replaced it with, like, I don't know, normal people, it could pretty much be the same movie. Just take out like the Just Dance app part of the movie and then replace it with some sort of trial of agility or something like that. It's like there's nothing really unique about this movie. It feels like it can just say, hey, there are emojis on this and that's our thing. That's what makes this different from all the other, you know, early thousands, late 90s pseudo Disney movies. Sony really made a mistake on this one, especially considering, you know, what could have been, you know, if you're not aware of the whole, you know, Gennady Tartakovsky with Popeye and Lauren Faust with Medusa and all that, and that and both of those getting scrapped, and this, you know, coming into the light, and it's just sort of like, when you bring that into account, it gives it even more of a burn, knowing that this exists, because it feels like an executive movie. You know, I don't think somebody who legitimately has a passion for animation and storytelling tried to pitch this and get agreed. This feels like an executive decision, and it was given to a team, and they were like, make this scenario work. And I feel like it could have worked. I honestly feel like this premise could have worked if it just took itself less seriously and went for a more, I don't know, satirical, you know, let's just do whatever type thing. Let's just make fun of stuff, you know, because it's like everybody has relatable problems when it comes to technology not working. I'm surprised this movie didn't even try to make some sort of autocorrect joke. You know, everybody has had problems with autocorrect or with, you know, the way things are when you try to spell something when you're typing a text message, and it's like, it doesn't even go for that. So you're not even trying to grab the low-hanging fruit. It's just a normal movie. It's just your normal run-of-the-mill throwaway bargain bin movie with emojis in it. That's basically it. There are only 2 gags in this entire movie that I could remember actually, you know, giving a chuckle. Like, that was pretty clever. And one was near the beginning of the movie where, you know, the main character, Gene, is, you know, on his way to like his first day on being on the phone, and he runs into this retirement center, and all the old people are basically emoticons, you know, like this, you know, the colon, capital D, and all those stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty funny. I mean, I don't even want to say pretty funny. Like that was kind of clever that, you know, these older forms of these facial expression communications are like old and retired in retirement home and all that. And like, all right, that's kind of clever. And another joke where, the hand emoji and Gene are going into this, a piracy app, and it's disguised as, you know, a dictionary app, and the hand is like, you know, it's so his parents don't know that, you know, he has a piracy app. And Gene is like, oh, come on. What could a teenage boy possibly have to hide from his parents? And then the hand emoji just has this deadpan stare for a reaction. And I'm like, okay, you know, you got me with that one. That one was all right. The timing on that one was pretty nice, but like, those are the only 2 jokes in the entire movie that I can remember, like, going like, that was alright. I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point. Don't see it. You probably weren't going to see it anyway, but those are just my personal thoughts. It's not even bad enough that you could really make fun of it. It's just really boring. Is all it is. Because you've seen this before. You've seen this when you were like 5 years old and your parents rented a movie for just any average animated movie for you. You've seen it before. It's just in a smartphone this time. And those are basically my quick and dirty thoughts. Apologies if this video seemed really unorganized. I just, you know, felt like this motivated me to make a video, so I guess that's a positive thing that came out of it. And, you know, if you think differently, if you think the Emoji Movie is the work of art, you know, actually I will say, you know, the animation's good, which, you know, you're not really gonna find a theatrical movie with terrible animation these days. Especially with Sony. Honestly, I am a pretty big fan of Sony's animation. I do like how they seem to go for a more cartoony feel than other companies tend to go, especially with, you know, stuff like Cloudy and Hotel Transylvania. Those are like really sort of, they really have a 2D bouncy aesthetic to them. Not so much in this movie. The cartoony stuff, I guess, comes when Gene has his, you know, really dramatic, emoji facial expression shifts. So there's not so much bouncy animation in this, but I mean, it's still good animation. You know, I'll give it that. You know what? That's basically it. If you have different opinions, you know, that's totally fine. You know, after all, I'm just one opinion on the internet, and I hope you enjoyed this little ramble, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be, or whenever that may be. See ya.